Hi guys, here's phase 10 Wednesdays program. This is a combo day, so we're doing 4 rounds. You're gonna do 30 seconds of one exercise, and then during their normal rest period, they have 20 seconds of another exercise, usually using the same tool was our goal for most of those. You have 4 rounds of the first exercise, and then actually only 3 rounds of the combo exercise because they don't have that last set, that fourth set. That will be them transitioning to the next exercise. So 4 of one, 3 of the next. Next, we're gonna go ahead and go through the exercises.
So the first thing that we have at the first station, we're going to have a band for this. We're going to have seated band rows. It's going to be the main exercise. What we're going to do is take a band here, put it on our feet. And for this one, we want to make sure our knees are slightly bent. Our chest is nice and tall. And for rowing, we're just rowing all the way in and back out, all the way back and out. So one thing we want to also look for is make sure our elbows are tight, and then we're getting all the way back there with our rows. Some people tend to go part of the way. We want to make sure we're getting all the way back with our rows and then extending our arms all the way out. We have a couple of different levels of bands as well, so people can challenge themselves over here. That's the first thing. Second thing is going to be seated band pull apart. So we're going to have our feet out, have the band straight out in front of us with our arms. They can either do this with a single part of the band or double it, make it quite as hard. We want to make sure there's tension on the band, so when we have it, we want it nice and tight to start off with. Then we're pulling out to the sides, all the way out, keeping the arms straight, back together, all the way out and back together. So, big thing here is just staying tall. So we want to make sure people aren't leaning forward and back when they pull, and we want to have their arms straight the whole time. So keep the arms straight the whole way out, and then arms straight the whole way back in. So that's going to be the first station. Second station, we're going to come over here in front of the dumbbells, or kettlebells, excuse me. First thing we have is going to be kettlebell curls. So when you have a kettlebell, there are a few different ways that they can hold this kettlebell. So the first one I'll show you is underneath, so you can grab the bottom of the kettlebell here and just be curling up. So down and up, like this. So that's one way they can hold it, and then if they have trouble gripping that, they can hold it on the sides here, so a little bit easier to grip, just going up and down, just like this. So kettlebell curls with this. We do want to make sure on these that they're not swinging their body. I want them to keep them tall, just moving their arms on this one. That's the first thing we're going to do. The combo exercise at station number 2 is going to be squats, so goblet squats. So what they're going to do, grab the weight here. I'm not going to go super heavy on this one. So a little bit lighter weight. They can use the same weight they use for the curls. Just holding the goblet position, and then squatting all the way down, all the way back up, all the way down. Make sure they're getting down to 90 degrees, and then coming back up with the squats. Now, they can hold it either way as well. So whichever way they held it, the curls, they can hold it the same way with the squats here. We do have one modification. If someone has trouble with that, we will have a TRX system set up over here and be doing TRX squats. So same thing with squats, arms nice and long, just getting all the way down in the squat and then all the way back. So a little bit easier if anyone has issues with squatting, they need that extra stability over there. So that's station number 2. Station number 3 is going to be over here. We're going to have dumbbells for this one. The first main exercise is going to be dumbbell floor press. So for this, we do want to make sure we're teaching them how to get the dumbbells up into position so they can grab the weights, get them on their knees here, and then lean back into position. Then they're going to have their feet flat. They're just pressing all the way up and then all the way back down. So just regular floor press here. Then the combo that we're going to have is going to be pinch press. So for that, they're going to take the weights, pinch them together here, right over their chest, pressing up and down. So just like this. Now, if you want to consider, they are going to be doing a pressing movement for pretty much the whole time, so they don't want to go insanely heavy where they're going to get tired halfway through. Just keep that in mind. And then throughout, we do want to make sure they're keeping their back flat, as people tend to lift their back up and down if they're going too heavy, or if they are getting tired. So just make sure we're looking for those couple things at this station over here. All right, so this is station number 3. Number 4 is going to be over here on the turf. Main version we have is going to be lateral walks for the main exercise, and the combo is going to be band squats. So we'll have the band here. We're going to grab it, get it around our knees, and then we want to get it right here above our knees. So just like this, we're going to be doing a lateral walk. So with this one, what we're going to be doing is 2 steps to either side. So they're going to go 1, 2, back, 1, 2. So regular lateral walks. A couple things that we want to make sure we're doing. We want to make sure we're in a little bit of a squat position. We're not all the way down, just a little bit of squat. And then when we step, we want to make sure we're keeping our feet shoulder width and taking little steps. So little step there, little step, little step, little step, then side to side. What some people will tend to do with this movement is they'll step with their outside foot first, so then they'll have their feet really close together. When that happens, they're not actually pulling the band, so the band is just getting loose. So what we want to make sure is they're keeping their feet here, going wide, close step, back, wide, and back, and just moving that outside foot first, rather than keeping their feet close. So that's the first main exercise. Then the combo exercise is going to be body weight squats with the band here. So keep the band on, they're just going to be squatting down, and back up, down, and back up. So with that, we're just making sure that they're driving those knees out, getting down, and back up, working on staying tall, and then driving those knees out. Now, we do have one modification for this station. The only people who would need this would be people who have trouble getting the band around their knees or around their legs. When we were demoing this station, you don't have to demo this modification. You could mention it, but you don't have to demo it and only give it to people who really need it. So, for people who need it, we are going to grab a big band here. For the main exercise, they're going to have it around their feet and then up here, and they're going to be doing lateral walks just like this. So stepping out and back, side to side, 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, that would be only people who cannot get the band around their feet. So similar thing, just going out to the side and back. This second exercise for that we're going to have is going to be, for people who have trouble with that, is going to be band push press. So for that, they're going to take the band here, have it on their feet, and then a little dip and up, a little dip and up. So trying to work on that. If they can't get in that squatting position, they have any knee issues that prevent them from doing that, we're just going to have them do this version, just so they don't have to be taking the band on and off, on and off. If they can get into the squat position, but they just can't get the band around, they can go down farther, but we just want to make sure they're not having to take the band off doing the banded squats. One other thing with the big band is if you do have someone that has to do with the big band, we want them to try not be on the turf, just the edge of the rubber, just because bands will get eaten up on the turf. You will probably won't have many people doing that, but if you do need someone to do that, just make sure we're not doing it on the turf, just so it doesn't tear up the bands. All right, so that is the fourth exercise. Fifth one is going to be over here by the turf over here. So first thing we have over here is going to be bear crawls, and the second exercise is going to be alternating. There's going to be alternating bird dogs. So first thing is bear crawls. What we want to do for these, we're going to be on the turf, hands on the turf like this, feet are going to be up, then we're going forward and back. So walking forward, they're going to walk to the edge of the turf, and then when they get to the edge of the turf, they're going to go back to the wall. Now, when you're teaching this, you want to make sure you're teaching people the right pattern to do this in. So when they're doing it, it's opposite arm and leg are moving forward, then opposite arm and leg forward. What people will tend to do is, if they haven't done this, they might do same leg, we don't want to do it. We want opposite leg and arm, and then same thing when we're going back. You also want to make sure they're keeping that core in their back nice and flat, so stable the whole way, just moving their arms underneath them. Now, if someone can do that movement pretty well, we do have a little bit of a modification for them to make it a little more challenging. What they're going to do is have weights in their hands, and they're just lifting the weight up, going forward, and alternating sides. So forward and back, adding a little bit of weight in there to challenge them a little bit. If someone does have wrist issues as well and can't do this, help them get around something to hold on, but if they can't do the movement properly, we don't want to add too much weight, so give them really light, but they can give them a little bit of help with that. One thing as well, if we are using weight, we want to make sure they're not sliding, because what tends to happen if they slide is they slide up in front of them, they fall on the ground, so make sure they're actually lifting if they are using weight. Now, if someone is doing a regular bear crawl and have trouble with it, or they're newer, the modification we would give them would be baby crawls. So for that, they're going to be on their hands and their knees, and then they're just practicing sliding their arms and legs. This really just helps them get the pattern down, so that when they do the bear crawls, they have the pattern of moving their arms and legs properly, so that they can really get that, make sure they get that down before they start challenging their stability on those. All right, so same thing, just forward and back with those. Just crawling forward and back. So that is the first thing we're going to do. Then the second exercise is going to be alternating bird dogs. So for that, what we're going to do is be in this position here. They're just going alternate arm and leg out, back in, then other arm and leg out, and back in. Now with this, we want to make sure it's under control and they're stable. So we want the arm and leg all the way up there, and they're not rotating their body at all, or rounding their back, or coming up, or anything like that. So try to keep the back flat, engage your core, just pressing or reaching out and back, all the way out, and back. We have a couple modifications. So if someone has trouble kneeling, we have a couple of things that they can do instead. So if they can't kneel if they can't do the bear crawls, they're not on their knees, they're fine. If they cannot do bear crawls and they need to do the baby crawls and kneel, we have a modification for them. You can have them doing wall abs. So for that, they're just pressing in the wall, arms up, and they're just going out and back, one leg at a time. So a little bit of a challenge, but not on those knees. Then your modification for the Birddog, you just give them a pad and be on their knees to do the Birddog. So give them a little support there, and then just do the Birddog on a pad, out, and back, just like this. Now, for this one, you don't have to show the modifications as well, because again, the only reason they would need this is if they cannot kneel, which isn't a ton of members. So you don't have to show those modifications. Those are only if people have trouble kneeling. So just show the main versions of the movements over here. All right, so for the finisher for today, what we're going to have is going to be a finisher with 3 exercises. They're going to have 4 minutes for the first 2 weeks to try to get as many rounds as they can, and 5 minutes for the second 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks, 4, third and fourth week are going to be 5. They're going to try to go through these 3 exercises as many rounds as they can within the time. So the way the reps will work, the first exercise will be 5, then 10, and 15, and I'll explain that as I go through them. So the first thing that we're going to have here is going to be climbing planks. So what we're going to do for these, we're going to be in a plank position on our elbows. So down here on our elbows, then all we're doing is going up on their hand, down, and down. Up, up, down, down. Now, when we do this movement, the challenge is to not let them rotate their hips. So what people tend to do is rotate. You don't want to do that. We want the hips stable, down, down, up, up, when we're doing this movement. A couple tips that I like to give people as well is when they're doing this movement, we want to try to use one arm to go down, same arm back up, then use the other arm, just so they're not using the same arm the whole time throughout this movement. And then their hands, when they come up, should be right where their elbows are. That helps make sure they're under their shoulders nice and stable. Now, if someone cannot do that movement, if they have trouble with that, they can do pledge planks. So for that, there's going to be a plank position, just touching their opposite shoulder. So opposite arm, opposite shoulder. If they are doing, so the reps we're doing for this is going to be 5 reps. If they are doing pledge planks, you're going to have to do 5 per arm just because they're a lot quicker. So 5 climbing planks or 5 per side pledge planks for the first exercise. Second exercise we have is going to be glute bridge. So they're going to be doing 10 of these. They're going to be on the ground, feet flat. They're going to be on their back. And then what they're going to be doing is going up and down. They can go a little quicker, but we want to make sure they're getting their hips all the way up every time. So all the way up, all the way down with the glute bridge here, and just make sure they're driving their knees out. So 10 of those. Then the third exercise in this finisher is going to be crossover mountain climbers. So they're going to be in the plank position here, just crossing their opposite knee to their opposite arm, crossing over their body side to side. Again, you want to make sure that they're stable, so don't let them rotate their hips or their body. Try to keep their body straight, just moving their knees. If they have trouble with that, they can just do regular mountain climbers. So if they're out of control a little bit, and do regular mountain climbers, so alternating sides. And then if they still have trouble, they're not quite strong enough to hold in that position, we can go over to a bench. We're going to be doing the incline. So for those, that's going to be going opposite, just doing mountain climb on a bench here, so a little bit easier for those. We're going to be doing 15 total of those. They're a little quicker, but we want to make sure they're under control the whole time. So 5 climbing planks, 10 glute bridge, and 15 crossover mountain climbers for as many rounds as they can within the timer for that.